Good morning, Keith Hayes, Mirador Television, out of the White Hart in Lewis, in the United Kingdom. And it's a strange situation with the weather. I was buffeted by a great storm all night. This morning it wasn't too bad, and now the sun is shining and reflecting off the courthouse, which is right opposite to where we broadcast from. And people are walking around almost in their shirt sleeves again. The forecasts, nobody can seem to get right. One forecaster says we're in for a series of storms, and another says summer is returning. Who knows? Just be careful when you go out there. I have to tell you that this system is turning into something that's very, very sensitive indeed. And I have to be very careful where I point the cursor on our computer, our main computer, because all sorts of things come up similar to that. So forgive me if I have no experts at the moment. Everybody's on holiday. Everybody's gone away. And here I am struggling along on my own in an area that I know very little about. And at my age, I don't intend to get too involved in it. They talk a language that I just don't understand. So there we go. That's the start to this Wednesday morning. It's 17 degrees. It's 8:32. It's the 2nd of July. The 2nd of August. Good old Jack Demanio returns in the year 2023. And it's a mixed bag this morning. Nobody can quite make up their minds on Fleet Street what is the most important story. So I think all we do is we just take them as they come. And let's see who is saying what. So the first paper up this morning is The Times. And its headline is, AI can help medics spot more breast cancer cases. And the guts of the story is that, let's see, I don't know why they had the medics spot more breast cancer cases. It doesn't even mention. It's front page. I mean, here is typical of what happens on Fleet Street at the moment. I mean, they are as useless tits as anybody else. There's the headline. Now here's the summary. Victorious lionesses dominate many front pages. Right. Government Minister Kemi Badenoch is in a few papers too, suggesting electric vehicle targets could damage investment in the UK. And what the hell's that got to do with AI can help medics spot more breast cancer cases? Where have they got these children that are now involved in this most important sector of media? I try very hard to see if I can read the first paragraph. Artificial intelligence has been shown to have the workload of radiologists and detect more cancer than clinicians alone. Well, basically what I'm saying is AI can speed up identification. It's not much of a story. And actually, frankly, if this is the standard, it's not much of a paper either. The Times has gone right downhill. There's the Daily Mail. Oh, while I calm down. It says, we're shaping Labour policy, boasts the Echo mob. Aha. But they're doing the same thing, right? That's the headline. And what is the summary? It's all about Anton Dubek saying that he was stabbed by his father years and years ago, right, as a child. And that's the headline. And just stop oil activists are boasting that their activities and protests have shaped Labour's policy, according to a leaked recording. Well, okay, so it does go back to its basic headline, but the basic headline is "We're shaping Labour policy," boasts the Echo mob. Right, okay. Anton, my dad stabbed me. Why on earth? That's the headline. God only knows. This chap is a very appealing guy. No, it's my type of program, but he seems to be very attractive on television, and that's fine. But why he being stabbed as a child years ago suddenly finds its way into the front pages of the newspaper just shows the paucity of people in our industry, people who are true journalists. They've gone. God only knows where they've gone, but they've gone. The Guardian, asylum seeker barge may be death trap, firefighters warn. Well, who knows that they may be right. And we haven't got. We're supposed to have the barges. You see, so it's turning into one of those bloody Wednesdays again. It really is. I've been here for 2 hours, making sure that I get everything right. And do I get everything right? No, because at the last minute the technology changes it, and that is the danger of computers. It does its own thing, and it's increasingly doing its own thing. So the rest of us don't know what the hell's happening. Never mind artificial intelligence. Elon Musk was right when he said we are already being taken over by computers, and he's right. Absolutely correct. The really tragic thing is, though, that nobody seems to care. Oh, you're closing the bank in our town. Boo-hoo. Does anybody do anything about it? No. Do we become activists against the banks? No. We just let them get away with it. And why? Because they can now use computers. Well, the computer does not talk to you. It doesn't say, "Good morning, Keith. How are you this morning? Gosh, I'm so sad that you lost your dog yesterday. What do you think of the cost of a pound of butter?" The computers don't do any of those things which traditionally the banks have done, or at least some of the banks and some of the institutions don't do it anymore. And then we wonder why 50% of children post-COVID have got mental problems. It's because nobody talks to them, for God's sake. When are we going to wise up to that? When are we actually going to look at the real reason instead of faffing around the way that we do? We are the people that are affecting our children. Nobody else, because we are permitting a society to develop where people do not talk to one another. You don't go out to socialize anymore. You stay at home, even to work. Nobody is talking. And how the hell do you find out what's going on in the minds of your fellow man? I'm a successful journalist. I'm not afraid to say that. I've had a pretty fair career. One of the things that I did was, in my very early days, I helped build the Trans-Canada Highway. I was trapped for 3 months in the Rocky Mountains with some of the roughest, toughest men that you've ever come across. And I got to know how they think. I was writing love letters for them, telling little white lies to their girlfriends down in Vancouver. I was a prison guard. I even had the offer from one young lady to become her pimp because she was in love with me. I would never have to work again, she said. I was a milkman. I was doing all sorts of things, and I got to know about my fellow man. I got to know what made us tick, and nobody does those things anymore. They're not interested. They're only interested in super glue, which puts the phone to the ear and doesn't let it be removed. We are masters of our own destiny. It's really up to us to change it. And is anybody going to try? No, not in the least. Anyway, the asylum seeker barge may be a death trap. In every newspaper, there is the story and pictures of the English ladies World Cup team and their victory over China, which was 6-1 yesterday. And they need to be thanked. But we are going overboard on sports at the moment. Daily Telegraph is the first time criminals are going to avoid court. Oh, how wonderful. The Telegraph features Sergeant Rachel Brennan of the Royal Yorkshire Regiment cheering on a horse to victory on the opening day of the glorious Goodwood Festival. There you go. See, the headline and the summary have absolutely nothing to do with one another. The broadsheet leads with a story from the Ministry of Justice claiming police are to be given a list of crimes, including drug possession, theft, and shoplifting, which for first-time offenders should be given as a caution rather than going to court. Rishi Sunak also confirms a delay to the opening of the Bibi Stockholm barge. All right, okay. The Metro, the lionesses rip China apart, yes. Rishi's Jeer Festival. The Prime Minister heckled as he pulls a pint after alcohol duty increases. Oh yeah. What genius thought up that as an opportunity? As they say, a picture opportunity. Him pulling a pint, having just increased the price. You can't make it up. They really are. It's a bunch of bloody idiots. Those are the people that are leading us. Those are the people that are leading us. For God's sake, how stupid can we be as a race? We've gone from 100 years ago, an eminently sensible, capable, competent, and in charge race, nation, to today where nobody is in charge. And those people that purport to be are just so changeable, wishy-washy. There's almost no point in us having them. What the decline and fall. The decline and fall. We're just like ancient Rome. Dear. Gone from greatness down to the silly nonsense. Silly nonsense. And nobody cares. We persuade ourselves that we're in good shape. We persuade ourselves to this. Dear. Right. The Metro. Cancer Holy Grail. A new pill inspired by 9-year-old victim destroys tumors, but not healthy cells. Let's see. The Metro reports on Rishi Sunak's visit to the Great British Beer Festival. There we go. Right. The headline is all about. It's all about beating cancer. Oh, a wonderful story. And what's the summary about? The Prime Minister going to a beer festival. I mean, really, why would we believe and have credible thought? Why would we? In our media, when we do this sort of stupid thing. He was jeered, Rishi Sunak was jeered, pulling a pint as alcohol duty rose on the whole. The paper leads with a story about scientists developing a holy grail pill that kills all solid cancer tumors, leaving healthy cells unaffected. According to the Metro, the new therapy is the result of 20 years of research and development and is named after Anna Olivia Healy, AOH. All right. The Eye, start believing. England set sights on World Cup win as Lionesses face Nigeria. Oh, all right. As oil giants escape a new windfall tax as Sunak demands North Sea drilling. Recession fears grow as interest rates set to rise until Christmas. Whee! There you go. Leading economists have told the newspaper, this is the Eye, have told the newspaper, they expect the Bank of England to impose further interest rate increases at meetings in September, November, and December, and that it could take up to a year before rates start falling. The top of the paper features as a picture of a beaming Lauren James. She's an England footballer. After the Lionesses roared into the knockout stages of the World Cup. Well, the next one is a telling one. We lose that, and out we go. So we meet Nigeria. Interesting, to say the least. Oh, sorry about that. It's early in the morning. No, it's not. And it's 17 degrees. It's increasing. It is not cold. Now, don't misunderstand. It's not cold. But we are getting flourishes of rain, and there is a forecast of thunderstorms with lightning. So be careful. Daily Express, biggest house price fall in 14 years, but a rise is on the way. A financial expert tells the Daily Express the housing market will weather the current economic storm and surge back next year. After that, it doesn't suggest, as the headline does, that the house prices are going to reverse as well. The Financial Times. Business breathes a sigh of relief after post-Brexit goods safety mark is ditched. Here we go. Lauren James is mobbed by teammates. Nothing to do with the headline at all. She helped, that's Lauren James, helped fire England past China to set up a knockout tie with Nigeria. The broadsheets lead story focuses on the UK announcing it will retain the European CE safety mark for products indefinitely rather than scrap it after Brexit. It is a move being welcomed by businesses as a link, whatever, in the right direction. And let's go to our wonderful Daily Star. It's Glorious Goodwood, first of all, they say. But then NASA, or NASA, however you pronounce that, boffins lose a £1 billion pound spacecraft after they fiddle with the aerial. The paper says, Voyager, we have a problem. The front of the Daily Star marks NASA temporarily losing contact with the Voyager 2 spacecraft due to a wrong command. The US Space Agency hopes to restore communication later in the year when Voyager is presumably ahead of the game. It doesn't say. It doesn't say what it's ahead of. Only that it hopes that it can get back in touch with the satellite. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Well, those are the news headlines. They're a mixed bag this morning. Just nothing is dominating, except strangely enough, it's sports again. After the miracle win by the cricketers at the Oval yesterday, yes, yesterday or the day before. Let's see, where are we? Wednesday, the day before, on Monday. We continue with good news stories from the world of sport, where our women's football team, the English women's football team, have not lost a match yet in the World Cup and are sailing towards the knockout stages against Nigeria, full force. I was going to say 3 sheets to the breeze, but it doesn't mean that at all. In fact, quite the contrary. What it means is 3 sheets to the breeze is that we have all had just that one too many. Yes, it does. I'm afraid. Yes, and most people say, "Why the hell are you telling us that, Keith? We know that." But it's amazing how many of our nice little sayings are dropping out of favour because the youngsters aren't picking them up. They're not picking up anything. They just got their ear glued to the phone. And if there's one thing that I find disturbing is walking along and I hear somebody talking and I turn to talk to them and it's not. It's people talking in very loud voices on the phone. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it's a very odd feeling. I feel I can complete and utter prat when I realise that they're not talking to me, and I was trying to answer them. All right, let's just look at some of the inside. Of the newspaper. One of the interesting things I think is that the shift in global power. What's that got to do with Lewis? They say, you might say. Well, it doesn't matter nowadays. What was it? I forget who used the term first. The global village. We live in a global village. What happens here can affect people in New York. What happens in New York can affect people in Auckland, in New Zealand. People in Auckland can affect people in Vancouver, British Columbia, who in turn can affect the Russians, and so on and so forth. So it's important for us to at least put into context those things that are happening outside our own parish boundaries. Xi tightens his grip as he orders a shake-up of top brass at China's nuclear missile force. There's a power struggle going on in China. And how safe we are depends upon who wins the power struggle. So it's worth us keeping an eye on exactly what's happening over there. AI breast scans detect 20% more cancers. That is good news from AI, that it's being used in a very positive way in the fight against cancer. It's a photo that shows police really are younger now. There's a photograph of for police recruits, and they look as if they're just going back to take the 11 plus, and so the headline is photos that shows police really are younger now. Yes, they are. But will they behave in a more mature way? We hope that they are. We hope that actually it's just their looks that make them look very young. Let's see. Moscow warned of more drone strikes after the latest tower attack. Children of 5 are taught about white privilege. That's a bit frightening, actually. Is, for God's sake, when are we actually going to? The world is falling apart. Is that the people in charge want more and more money for doing less and less and less. Well, I don't know about they do less and less and less, but they do less and less effectively. is a lot of our industry is in complete and utter chaos, not fit for purpose, and yet we pay bonuses and all sorts of things for it. We just have people who are not competent to run businesses, in charge of businesses. I personally would much rather stop all this nonsense about gender issues and so on and so forth, and just concentrate on getting people who can do the job, because that would lift our life. It would actually address a number of the issues that we find difficult. Yeah, nobody listens to me, but still, at least I have my say. Now, here's, as I said a little earlier, here's the way to shoot yourself in the foot. Is politicians particularly, but also film stars and celebrities and so on, who want their names and faces in the newspaper, go to great lengths and pay huge amounts of money to people to advise them. And here is exactly the sort of advice that is so dear to my heart, and is let's get Rishi being a man of the people in a pub pulling a pint, right? Yes, boss, it's a good photo opportunity, and it'll make you look as if you understand the ordinary man, and so on and so forth. There you go. Yeah. All right. We got the photographers here. Yes, they're going to take some nice photographs. When you pull that pint, be reminded that you've just put up the duty on alcohol. So while you're extolling the virtues of a pint, you're also making it more expensive to buy. Wow. I can't think of anything that is more suitable to launching or trying to get your paper, face in the paper, than pulling a stunt like that. Just how stupid can they be? But then stupidity seems to be the order of the day. Yes, it does indeed. I don't know. I really don't know. Well, we didn't get into why Sunday is the best time for sending work emails. I don't like doing it so often on a Sunday. It is traditionally a day of rest, or at least a time to put the work phone aside. But if you want to get your colleagues' attention, then it seems Sunday is a day to do it. There you go. There you go. Instead of putting your feet up, what you've got to do is to get up and look at all your work emails and send them to your colleagues, because then they'll pay attention to you. There's a certain element of logic in that. It's 8:59. That's the first half hour of the Mirador's day. Looking at the papers, we'll be back in half an hour, and hopefully we'll end off the morning with John Henty, with plenty of Henty, and he's always great fun. It's good fun and a good way to end midweek. So for the moment, I'm going to say toodle pip, and we'll see you again in half an hour. Toodle, 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 toodle pip. If I can find the toodle pip button. Yeah, why not?